a nation divided not by states or territories but by trust. The latest ABC News Ipsos poll reveals a near-even split between Americans trusting President Joe Biden, former President Donald Trump, or neither to steer the country. A fascinating display of our current political climate, wouldn't you say? Now let's delve a little deeper into this divide. On one side, we have Republicans predominantly placing their trust in Trump. On the other, Democrats leaning more towards Biden. Fascinatingly, both these figures, prominent as they are, carry similar low favorability ratings, a testament perhaps to the tumultuous times we find ourselves in. Yet it's essential to note this division isn't merely a matter of party loyalty. It's about trust, a cornerstone of any functioning democracy. Who do we trust to lead us, to guide us through challenges and towards prosperity? And as we can see, the answer to that question is far from unanimous. It seems that the political landscape is as divided as ever, with trust being a key factor in this division. But what about the issues at hand? Who do Americans trust to handle them effectively? When it comes to the economy, inflation, and crime, it seems former President Trump is the preferred choice. The ABC News Ipsos poll reveals that a significant portion of Americans believe Trump has the upper hand in these areas. This isn't surprising, given that Trump's tenure was marked by a focus on economic growth and law enforcement. However, let's not forget that every coin has two sides. On the flip side of this political coin, we find President Biden leading the charge on issues such as climate change and abortion rights. It seems that when it comes to environmental policy and women's reproductive rights, more Americans put their trust in Biden. This corresponds with Biden's campaign promises and his administration's actions so far. Inflation, an issue that hits close to home for many, also swings in favor of Trump. Despite the economic challenges posed by the pandemic, a good number of Americans seem to believe that Trump could handle economic recovery more effectively. This belief is likely tied to Trump's business background and his administration's economic policies before the pandemic hit. On the topic of crime, Trump appears to have the upper hand as well. His tough-on-crime stance during his presidency resonates with a portion of the American populace, who believe he could more effectively address this issue. As for climate change, an issue that continues to gain traction in the national and global consciousness, Biden is the favored choice. His commitment to rejoining the Paris Agreement and his ambitious climate plan seem to have won over a sizable number of Americans. And when it comes to abortion, a deeply divisive issue, Biden again takes the lead. His stance on protecting women's rights to choose aligns with the views of many Americans, particularly those who believe in safeguarding these rights. Clearly, the American people's trust in their leaders is not just about personality, but also about policy. Trust is not a static entity, it wavers and changes with the times and events. Consider President Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas conflict. A shift is evident in the public's trust. It has seen a decrease. This change is not isolated. It is indicative of the complex and ever-changing nature of trust in leadership. However, trust is not a one-way street. It's not just about losing it. One can also gain it back. A case in point is Biden's recent State of the Union address. It was well received by a section of Americans, suggesting a possible rebound in trust. This shows that even amidst the swirling tides of public opinion, effective communication can still sway hearts and minds. But here's the catch. Trust, like the political landscape, is constantly shifting. Today it may be leaning one way, tomorrow it could swing in the other direction. As we navigate through these tumultuous times, we must remember that trust is not a fixed point on a map, but a compass that guides us. As the political winds shift, so does the trust of the American people. The question remains, who will they trust when the next storm hits? So, what does this all mean for the state of American politics? Well, according to the ABC News Ipsos poll, our nation is essentially divided down the middle in terms of trust for our past and present presidents. This split isn't just based on party lines, it's also issue-based. Trump is favored on economy-related matters, inflation, and crime, while Biden takes the lead on climate change and abortion. This data paints a vivid picture of a nation divided not just by political affiliations, but also by the issues that matter to them. The fluctuating trust levels based on specific issues indicate that both leaders have their strengths and weaknesses in the eyes of the public. So what does this mean for future political events and elections? It suggests that the candidate who can effectively address these key issues, regardless of their party affiliation, has a chance to tip the balance in their favor. It's a call to action for politicians to focus on what truly matters to the people they serve. In the end, trust is a powerful tool in politics, and right now it's anyone's game.